Thanks, Stephen. Thanks for coming. Thanks, everybody, for coming today. Again, my name's Adam Usprech, and I'm here to talk to you today about the Registered Disability Savings Plan. And this is a phenomenal way. It's a great way to help you save for individuals with disabilities and ensure their financial future. Now, there are many products out there that a lot of us are familiar with. There's the RSP, the RRIF, and then, of course, now we have the RDSP. Now, a lot of products out there people think of as nice to have. A lot of products out there that it's nice to have an RSP. It's nice to have a RIF. The RDSP is not a product that's nice to have. It's a need to have product for people with disabilities and also for their families. Now, before I get into the RDSP, I want to give you a little bit of background as to why I'm talking about this particularly, why I'm the guy who's speaking to you today about the Registered Disability Savings Plan. This is a very personal product to me because, as Stephen alluded to, not only am I telling you about this, I actually have one. And the reason I have one is because I had an injury back in the summer of 1991 where I was hit by a car riding my bike home from work. I was just 18 at the time, and I was coming home from work in the summer as a lifeguard, riding home from work, and some individual crossed the road, and me and the bike went over the car, front bumper, the hood, the roof, the back windshield, the back bumper, and the ground. Before I was scooped up by the ambulance, taken to the hospital there in Banff, I was stabilized, and I was transferred to the hospital in Calgary, where I was in a coma for 11 days, in hospital for a month in total, where I had to relearn how to walk, talk, eat, etc. The reason this is, I had a whole bunch of physical injuries, which for me, fortunately, weren't a huge impediment. I had numerous fractures, which were stable. I had massive nerve damage, which was manageable. Muscle wasting, nerve damage, that type of stuff, which was manageable for me. The focal point for me as to why I qualify for the RDSP is because I have a massive diffuse closed head injury. I had a massive traumatic brain injury. So I kind of threw a wrench into my plans of going to school in that fall of '91, where I planned on going to the University of Guelph to become a veterinarian. Instead of doing that, in that I was in the hospital for a month, and then 2 weeks back home in Toronto, I had to spend my time focused on getting better, focusing on remembering how to remember and how to learn. Because when I woke up, I thought I was in fact 9 years old, as I was when I was recovering from a bone disease when I was 9. I had to relearn how to walk, talk, and eat. Sorry, when I was 9, I had to learn to walk again, which was fortunate for me and part of the reason I attribute to my success of recovering. That was when I was 9, and when I was 18, I had my brain injury. So after I got in the hospital, I spent my first year doing intensive cognitive and physical therapies, where I spent 3 days a week each doing cognitive therapies with my team of neuropsychologists and their team of psychometrists. And I also spent 3 days a week, 1 day overlapping, doing physio, where my physiotherapist worked on my injuries, and then I went to the gym for 3.5 hours, and then I swam for an hour. I had to rebuild myself because after being in a coma for 11 days, I was weaker than a puppy. That's what I used to say. So I had to rebuild myself. Physically, fortunately, it was not an insurmountable challenge. The cognitive one for me proved to be more a challenge after all. Anyways, I persevered that first year doing intensive therapies, and then the next year I followed through by forcing myself to go to university, where I did university with my physical therapy and occupational therapy, which turned into cognitive therapy, and I did modified course load over the next 9 years. And at the end of 9 years, I graduated with an undergraduate degree, and I was also hungry for more after that. I did my MBA. Now, at that time, and ongoing for me, as is for many of my peers with disabilities, we can relate that the challenges of having a disability are ongoing. Every day, I know that I have this uniqueness about myself. Every day there's something that I say, oh, I dropped that, I forgot that. That's part of my injury, and I understand that. It's very ongoing, it's very dynamic, and it was dynamic for me both going through school, negotiating with faculty, as I present, most people say, normally. I don't have something that's an obvious disability, but that was a rather fixed setting, excuse me. And then I did the same thing when I started the work world. When I went to the work world, I have my education, I have an undergrad degree, as I said, and I have an MBA. The problem is when I go into the work world, into a normal job, people assume that because I have my education, I can do it, which I can. Unfortunately, to be successful in any role, I need certain accommodations, and that's where challenges come into place. When I started out in banking and finance, trying a couple different roles, a couple different places, there were challenges and whatnot along the way, but then I evolved into the opportunity to become a financial advisor. And then out came this product called the Registered Disability Savings Plan, and I thought, wow, here I am, an individual with a disability, as a financial advisor, what a great fit. I can make this my career focus. So that was kind of the angle I took, and my passion was investment and insurance. It still is investments and insurance because they're a part of it, a very big part of it, with the insurance as well as the investments, as well as, of course, now the RDSP.